Evening all. Here we are again. It's time. The E-Chapel is open. Monstructo, TF2 Real Gamer 2022. Welcome into the chapel. Either one, either way. Many says, Daddy, we're not that kind of religion. Although it would be hilarious to go to one of those religions that did do that. Just walk into the Catholic Church and yes, Daddy. He's calling the priest Daddy. Absolute scenes in such a circumstance that I would love to see. Yeah, but we don't do that. I don't think you call the Pope Daddy. I don't think even in because people do are like, yes, Father, like that, when they I don't know what accent that was, but I don't think they do that when they go to church and they meet a priest. But as soon as what do I think of Oswald Mosley? Mostly I don't. What is it? No, whenever anyone mentions Oswald Mosley, I remember there's a sketch show in the UK called Not the 9 O'Clock News, and they had a song. And the title of the song was Baronet Ernald Oswald Mosley, because it fitted in with the scansion of the chorus line of the song. And it had a lyric, popular and handsome as Richard Burton, because I saw him on the telly once with his black shirt on. And that's what I think of every time I think of Oswald Mosley. He was popular and handsome as Richard Burton, because we saw him on the telly once with his black shirt on. So there we go. That is literally the only thing that enters my head. Obviously I've watched documentaries. I've listened to a podcast, Behind the Bastards, that did a whole thing on her. Oswald Mosley was a British political figure. He was like the proto-Nigel Farage, if you can imagine such a thing. He, in the 1930s and 40s, believed very much in the fascism and the healing power of fascism, and organised a group called the Black Shirts to bring Britain under the heel of a benevolent fascism, and a bunch of working class people kicked the shit out of him and his black shirts at a rally, and that was kind of it. They just went, yeah, probably not going to happen, guys. So there we go. That was Oswald Mosley, and in the Behind the Bastards episode about him, it's quite easy to find. You look for Behind the Bastards, and you look for the episode. I think there's two. They did a two-parter called Oswald Mosley. How does electricity work? Well, the tiny electro goblins use the tunnels to get into the devices, where what happens to them depends very much on how the device is set up. So in my ring light just here, they explode, and thus light happens, and there's this constant stream of electro goblins being massacred every millisecond in order to light up my face like this. And indeed I've got an uplighter. What sexuality is electricity? Monstructo, you're on fire this evening. What do you think of Elon doing the Nazi side, and they're getting fumbled by Trump? Right, so sexuality is electricity. Sexuality is non-binary in the sense that it can choose at any given moment what sex it is, and thus it is very similar to Eris. In fact, it is Eris. So there we go. Electricity is Eris, and whatever sexuality Eris is choosing at the moment, she mostly chooses female because it irritates all the right. We don't talk about quantum electricity in this house of worship, Monstructo. Say 5 Hail Marys and prostrate yourself before the goddess. The Elon Nazi sign. Everybody got to have a hobby. Elon's hobby is being a sociopath. So what is going on with my flipping hat tonight? Jeepers creepers. Oh, it's because of not mirrored. I was talking last week how it blows my mind that the display that I see, the monitor display I see, isn't mirrored. But there we go. Oh, it's the boy. I'm online, boy. So what do you want? Stay there. We do not want people. Your face will literally burn the eyeballs of the audience with its handsomeness. So what do you want?
Oh yeah, I forgot it's Friday. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was on Friday.
Well, it is Friday, so there we are.
It's just stupid idiot sometimes.
That's all right. What did you want?
And I'm trying to get my freaking telly to connect to the Switch.
And it's not doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll come and have a look at it in a bit.
Like I want the
TF2 Real Gamer says hello to you, by the way.
Oh.
Heya! There we go. Good.
Hey yo.
There you go. Off you go.
Hold on, let me cover my face.
No, it's fine. You're all right. You go, and I'll come and see you later. Okay, so, Father! What do you think of South Africa? Is it a shame it's no longer a dominion of the British Crown? Funnily enough, someone was saying this, I think, the other day about how, America, you basically rule the world these days, don't you? We did that once here in the UK. It doesn't last. Eventually, it just becomes too expensive. It's like this thing, people are like, I really want to own a mansion. I want to own a mansion. It's like, do you know how much it costs to light and heat a flipping mansion? You're living in a terraced house. Your electricity bill is still very expensive every month. I don't know, 150, 200 pounds every month. If you moved into a bloody mansion, your electricity bill and gas bill would be like £2,500 a month. You don't want that. I really want to own a mansion so I could sell it. Yeah, and I want to own Greenland, says Trump. Yeah. Which is interesting because I don't know how true this is, but Greenland and Iceland are named as they are because of marketing. The Vikings who discovered Vinland, they came across Iceland and it was quite pleasant. And, the weather was changeable, but generally green, pleasant, life-sustaining, everything like that. And then they came across Greenland, trackless wastes of tundra. And when we go home, what should we call these places? It's like, well, we'll call the one that's icy Iceland, the one that's green Greenland. Tell you what if we did it the other way round? What do you mean? We don't want loads of people going over to the one we want to call Greenland and fucking shit up. No, we'll call that one Iceland. So you don't want to go there. But the one that's trackless tundra and waste, we'll call that Greenland. And maybe we'll fool some people into moving in there, yeah? That's what I heard anyway. So that is why Iceland is kind of green, has all this nature. You've got volcanoes and lava and all of this stuff. And Greenland is referred to as Greenland because it's got nothing on it. And they just wanted to, fob it off on someone. So there we go. That's what I think. The Czech Republic should invade Greenland. Sadly, it has no navy. Oh, Monstructo. Yeah, it's a good point. Good question. Yeah, good question. Is it even a question? Good point to make. The Czech Republic. I don't know why the Czech Republic in particular would do that. I think that the Eurovision nations should invade somewhere. Paratrooper invasion work. Because, if you think about it, across all the Eurovision nations, that must be loads of people. Eurovision could literally take... Risk was done on the basis of that, everywhere that a Eurovision nation invaded became a Eurovision nation. The entire world would belong to Eurovision in a week. A week! Invading you is a losing game. And all of that. So there we go. So there we go. That's my theory. One world under Eurovision is the vision that are Euro. So there we go. Because there's loads of Australia is a Eurovision nation now. It's not, the Euro in Eurovision is becoming highly flexible. I think that Scotland needs to get its independence. What? From the Eurovision nations? Or... If I'm totally honest, every time they get ever since a certain incident in 2016, whenever there's been a smell of a Scotland independence vote, I've been, go on Scotland, kick England in the nuts. I feel happy saying that because it's certainly not, they're not kicking Wales in the nuts. Wales has already had its nuts thoroughly kicked in by England, so it'd be nice just to see England on the the wrong side of the equation was. We should stop Austria. Just stop it before it's too late. Oh, Vienna. That's in Austria. You can't do that. Random strings of consonants mixed up with vowels. I can't. You know, it's in the improv class of the E-Chapel. That's not a yes-andable statement. You know, I can roll with just about anything, but that is not part of it. You missed the weeks, or maybe you've watched them on YouTube. Why does Wales have a red dragon thing in its flag? Because we're amazing. Although, if I'm going to be totally honest, Welsh people do have begun to, it's become part of the culture. Red dragon, yeah, like that. Idreg goch, yeah. But the thing about it is, are the red dragons still wandering the lands of the whale? I'm afraid not. But yeah, the thing about the red dragon is that of all the red dragons they could have had on a flag, it's like, it's not great, is it? It's just it's a bit of a colouring book red dragon. I mean, I know it's a flag, but there's some of these flags that have these really detailed things on them from some countries. I'm going to say probably the Democratic Republic of Congo has a flag with really detailed elements on it. Why are you calling yourself Wales? There aren't any whales in your land. There are whales. There are whales off the coast of Wales. It gets very confusing and awkward. This text should be bold. Who said that text wasn't bold? Not in the sense of thick, but maybe it's brave. Maybe the text itself. It just don't DGAF. It'll say whatever. It doesn't care if it hurts your feelings. It's bold. It's possible. It's possible. There aren't any whales in your land. There aren't any whales in our land. But, I mean, so there we go. Opinions on KCO. What, the manufacturer of organs and calculators? That KCO? I mean, I can't remember the last... Oh, and digital watches, of course. Don't forget those. But as digital watches and calculators are largely redundant in the age of the... you got it, sir. Hey! As they're largely redundant in the age of the... I forgot to press the 23 button. I'm going to press it. Am I going to press it now? Yeah, I'm going to press it now. There we go. 23's coming. I've called the 23. 23 is happening. Yeah, as they're largely redundant, I can't think of the last time Casio made anything that I would care about. That's who Casio is. This is clearly a reference to something I don't know anything about. I am nearly 50, so, you know, if I miss out on things, then that's the way it is. You know, that's my role in life now, is to miss out on things. There's an age in which you just hear about things. Yeah, nearly 50. Yeah, nearly. You look 20. It's the light. It's the ring light. With this grey beard, nah. But yeah, so actually, one of my work colleagues asked me how old I was, and I told him, and he said, "Really? Because you're one of those people. You look like you could be any age between like 26 and 56." So I wasn't sure. So, you know, there we go. I guess probably up close I look a lot. Up close and without the ring light, I probably look a lot. Yeah, I can see it now. But right here, right now, yeah, possibly not 20 though. Not 20. Watched the movie, the Seth Rogen vehicle, The Green Hornet, last night. Greybeard is just the want of your body to be Santa Claus. Yeah, that's highly possible, in fact. Yeah, I was just to bring my feelings and topic into the conversation for a few minutes. Hans better. Does that ring a bell? It really doesn't. So I'm just gonna, for a second, say last week or the last couple of weeks I've been saying, like, really these services should be running in a slightly different way, where the congregation, that's you guys, try everything they can to derail whatever I have planned. That really should be the duty and the shape of the Friday service. And I must say, even if you didn't know that I said that in the last couple of weeks, you're doing an excellent job. Hans Albert Bethe was a German-American physicist who made major contributions to nuclear physics, astrophysics, quantum electrodynamics. Well done. Well done, Hans Albrecht Bethe. Right. Okay. Fine. Right. Hedy Lamarr was the grandmother of Wi-Fi. So, you know, we've all got stuff to do. And she was a cinema beauty. So there we go. Bet you never saw Hans Albrecht Bethe swimming in a swimming pool in a synchronized swimming sequence in a Busby Berkeley musical. Have you ever driven a snowmobile before? No, I've never driven a snowmobile before or after or during. I actually really, you know, obviously when I was a child, I loved snow because all children love snow. I live in one of the least snowy places probably on Earth. Like, snow can be going on lots of other places, but it won't be going on here. It can be literally 5-6 inches deep, 5 miles that way, and I've been covered with chewbaccas. And it won't be snowy here, which is much to the chagrin of the boy who came in earlier. He doesn't like the fact it never snows here. I used to live in Nottingham in the UK, and in Nottingham they can get 4 inches of snow in one day, and it will literally sit there slowly curdling for 2.5 months. That's Nottingham. Like, you'll be there, like it won't have snowed for at least a month, and then there'll be these banks of clogged grey snow not melting on the corners of all the streets. Are you a fan of Michael Rosen, or is he a vermin and plague upon our lives? Do you mean the poet Michael Rosen? Michael Rosen, if you are talking about the poet, has been about since I was a very little boy, and as I just said, I'm nearly 50. Is he not dead? If it is the poet. If he's not, he's very, very old at this stage. I thought some of his poems were kind of fun when I was a boy, and then I didn't think about him really at all. Like, his poetry is clearly not that powerful. Oh, older than my dad, and my dad is dead, so there you are. 1984. R.I.P. Dad. It's been a while now, nearly a year. He died because he couldn't be asked to live anymore, and that is almost literally what it says on his death certificate. It says, died of the frailty of old age. I had this belief that people generally die of a heart attack or cancer, or of a heart attack brought on by cancer, or whatever it is. But and the thing is, right, he always had this fantasy, like morbid fantasy, about starving him to self to death in a romantic way. But I tell you, that fucker was necking biscuits every day. But he simply didn't take care of himself. Like, his muscle started to waste, and he did no exercise. He didn't try and maintain anything, and eventually his entire body just went, ugh. And that was it. So there we go. And that's literally how he died. I didn't know that till he died. But yes, 23 is coming. 23 is coming. We've got 16 minutes to 23. Right, I suppose we could have a look at some of these slides. Right, okay. So as you're here, nobody else is here, I'll trust that. I deliberately checked this. There we go. Right, there's the disclaimer. You can see the disclaimer there. There's the disclaimer, right? You've seen it now. Anything that happens to you now is entirely your own fault. There's the order of service. We haven't done any of it yet because you've been too busy distracting me, which is your job. And so you are good Discordians. Good Discordians, because you distracted me. And that's what you're supposed to do. So let's see what's on this file. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about something, but you probably not. You were both excellent as you were doing the Discordian thing in the Discord. Did Eris get a face today? Eris is back. Eris was back last week. Last week Eris was you, and I mean you. Lovely tents. Very nice. I'll summarise this briefly because may as well. I was thinking of the fact that Facebook groups generally that are Discordian, and probably groups anywhere else on the internet as well, well certainly Reddit, yeah, that they basically exist to for people to demonstrate that they're not actually real people, and I think this is corrosive. Better be the heavy from Team Fortress 2. I'm allowing that because it's a running joke in this environment. I can tell you now that it's not. Will you ever react to the Team Fortress 2 comics? It's free online. Reaction content. Do you see that Reddit banned Twitter links? That's big. I didn't see that. Huge if true, I guess is what we're saying. But yeah, I was just saying that basically I think it's corrosive to modern Discordianism that Discordian groups online mostly exist to convince you that everyone in there is some kind of weird bot. Yeah, and that's it. And I'm like, I'm sure there are plenty of other religions that have groups on the internet where everybody, you would go in there and you think, that's a bot, and that's a bot, and that's a bot, and that's a bot, you know. Did Elon Musk ruin Twitter? Well, the general consensus is that he did, but I never liked Twitter before Elon Musk ruined it. So what can I say? But yeah, so that was my basic theme, was like, I think I was considering starting a Facebook group called This Discordian Life, where I say you can't post memes. You can't do any of the stuff that people do in other Discordian groups. This is literally a group for Discordians who want to talk about the human experience of being a Discordian. And then I'm like, Facebook group. Facebook, what's that? Yeah, all right. Or a subreddit or whatever it is. But I'm like, I'm still undecided. But there we go. I still do think it's a topic for discussion that sometimes, like, Discordianism is a real spiritual path, yeah? As much as this is another problem. I think most Discordians don't believe that. Because you're not supposed to believe anything, it's part of the thing. Child disturbance. Oh, well, that is. I don't know why you've put that in the chat. You're coming free of context. This is no good. You can't derail someone without context. But yeah, so that was what it was all about. It's about the fact that, you know, my consideration is that this whole stick apart thing, it doesn't. I heard a child screaming back. Oh, he was calling his mother to do something, check something for him. He's not interested in me. Will he be burned at the stake for this? No, not at all. He's allowed to holler. We all holler from time to time. You know, he might grow up, you know, damaged because we've loved him too much, but it's better than him growing up damaged because we loved him too little, isn't it? You know, or abused him, or invaded his personal space, or lots of things that parents seem to generally quite like to do with their children. We've decided to opt for an alternative course of not doing any of those things, just trying to keep him safe and respect his boundaries. I don't know, many people think we're weird, but we'll see how it turns out. We'll see who gets the last laugh. So there we go. Kanda, well, we're already in there, aren't we? That's why. Why is there a yellow orb in the window again? That's my paper lampshade. One day I'll dig out the webcam and then we can have an alternative camera source and I can point it at the sort of... It looks kind of like a cross between the Death Star and a wasp's nest. It's not the sun. It's my lampshade. You must know the ones. They're like circular and they got like wooden rings and then sort of weird tacky yellow paper stuck over the rings. When you pull it down and put a wire thing in it, it's just like a yellow orb. A yellow orb. So it's not the sun. Have you tried out Team Fortress 2 yet? I haven't even tried out Marvel Rivals. Yeah, that's my Q&A. No, I don't do them. Like today I was watching a video about where somebody was making the case that Marvel Rivals was so successful and great because it was broken in ways that Overwatch 2 simply isn't. That Overwatch 2 is more balanced, but that makes it more boring. And that Marvel Rivals thrivels precisely because it's so broken. Why are you so determined to lie about having the sun in a window? Because if everybody knew that I'd trapped the sun between two panes of glass in my house, they would all demand that I release it. You see that Trump is going to spend $500 billion on AI. Have they got AI on Pornhub now? Because I can see it. So there we go. That's fine. I mean, he's only doing that because Elon told him to. Yeah, so here we go. Face of Eris. You asked for it. Here it is. They got AI ads on the hub. Recorded. So yeah, we really want to know who the face of Eris is this week. There's a clue there in the corner. It says spicy. I tried it out. Pretty bad. Yeah. Well, that's just AI, isn't it? You could say that about literally any AI product. I tried it out. Pretty bad. Got to be the heavy. For crying out loud, TF2 Real Gamer 2022. That is the... Where is your head? You've done the recurring gag. Doing it again, just it's like... It's not that style of comedy. The Fast Show knew you only do it once a week. Or did they? Did they repeat sketches? Don't know. It's UK. My head is above me. Lol. Right, here we go. And how would spicy relate to the heavy from Team Fortress 2? I know that you have an answer to that. Because, you know, like you're going to have an answer to why any literal concept on the face of the planet relates to the heavy from Team Fortress 2. But there we go. See, we've got it. There it is. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is how we relate to the heavy from Team Fortress 2 this week. Okay, so big and fat and big and say. I bet you that was meant to be sexy, but it came out. I like it being say, to be honest. Sexy would have been disappointing by comparison. Okay, so here it is. It's not. It is. Drum roll. Droll. Neurodivergence, also known as spicy brain. So yeah, why? Because people with neurodivergence get extra qualia. Don't know what qualia is? Wait for Q&A next week. Are they therefore Eris's chosen people? What? Boo! Who knows? Who says that the heavy from Team Fortress 2 isn't maybe ADHD? Or even autistic? Who's to say that? Eris's chosen people. Calm down, real gamer, before I start throwing anvils. Yeah, so wake up and smell the chaos, yeah? I'm glad that nobody's asked me what qualia is, which means that I have such a refined... he has ADHD and cancer. It's in the cops. Really? Well, there we go. So, technically, as neurodivergence is, you were right to a certain degree. I mean, he's one of a class that is this week's Face of Eris, but he is. So, there we go. We know now. Neurodivergence is no. I could explain all of this, but no, it's a human brain covered with colours, like weird colours. Well, how would a snake represent neurodivergence? It's a brain. It's a spicy brain. That is a brain that is hella spicy. Yeah, that's what it is. What else we got in here? Is the culture in reverse? Yes, that's a very good question. I'm always thinking, because they call all that neurodivergent stuff, that's all disorders. Yeah. But I, as a neurodivergent with a neurodivergent wife, I'm starting to believe that it's the holistic people. They're the ones with the disorders. But we've just set culture up to make them feel better. Because one of the symptoms of being neurotypical is that you're very sensitive about thinking there's something wrong with you. Far more sensitive than all the neurodivergent people. They're like, oh, there's something wrong with me. Oh, okay, fair enough. I'm just going to get on with what I'm doing over here. You chill out, knowing that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Though you do seem quite touchy about the concept that there might be something wrong with you. Just saying. Is neurodivergence acceptable in church? Well, there's two answers to that. One is, yeah, it should be. But the other answer to that is probably sometimes not. I was doing a whole thing in last week's Deep Thoughts about how church is a weird... Oh, sorry, N-typicals. Oh, no, we're not sorry about that, to be honest. Did Dad have new... He did not, for definite. He definitely didn't have that, because they would have found it. He was having doctors round all the time. That was one of the things. They all looked a bit like they like lost a big hand at the poker table when he died, because they were like, but we're looking at him all the time. There was no indication he was about to die. What the hell's going on? So they were surprised as well that his body just basically went meh. And that was it. So he definitely didn't have that. So is neurodivergence acceptable in church? Oh yeah, I was doing this whole thing about how churches were set up in a way where some guy, this is the opposite of the way we work. Do I live in Llanfair, Pwllgwyn, Gillgog, Eris, Drobl, Llantysilio, Gogogoch? No, I don't live in Llanfair, Pwllgwyn, Gillgog, Eris, Drobl, Llantysilio, Gogogoch. I live in the south of Wales. And Llanfair, Pwllgwyn, Gillgog, Eris, Drobl, Llantysilio, Gogogoch is in the north of Wales, not the south. And they have a real problem because their buses have to use 0.8 font when they're going there. And so people are like, is that taking me home? And they're like, don't know, can't see. Probably then. Can you speak Welsh? No, not really. I mean, to the extent that we have to have Welsh on all the road signs. So like remote exit is Allan. Steel is heavier than feathers. Well, yeah, if you have like 1 kilo of steel and 2 kilos of feathers, then no, steel is not always heavier than feathers. I was just about to say, if you have 1 kilo of steel and 2 kilos of feathers, the feathers are heavier. How common is Welsh in Wales? Well, Wales has a big mountain in the middle of it where nobody lives. And then south, not so much. West, quite a lot. North, absolutely bloody everybody. So that's how it is. Say, steel is heavier than feathers. All right? Steel is heavier than feathers. But yeah, to return to the church matter while we're waiting for that hilarious punchline to land. Yeah, church is a situation where a guy I can't do a Scottish accent. So I'm not even going to try. That would be insulting. I forgot to add that. No, the nearest I could get to a Scottish accent is a bad impersonation of Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire saying, "It was a runway fruiting," and you see it doesn't even work then. So unfortunately, you're not going to get that one this time. Scottish in Scottish. I can't, and I would if I could. I can't. If you've got some hilarious thing for me to say in a Welsh accent, I can do that, being as I lived in Wales since I was 7. And for all my mistakes, I'm innocent of killing the 3 people. Yes, there we go. Good. It's God's fault. God made me do it. Or maybe it was the devil. Or maybe it was neither. Anyway, so yeah, so in a church, a guy stands up and says a bunch of stuff. And he takes the mantle of being a man of God. That is, he speaks the word of God, which may not be assailed. So everything you hear, you must hear it and believe it and go out and live your life by it, right? Which sounds kind of creepy when you put it like that. But in a Discordian church, the whole idea is a man comes and he does exactly the same thing, but you are invited to mock him for that, because that's how it is. That's how we find ourselves, by deciding. Was my nan, if she had Wi-Fi, she said, no, but I've got some nice biscuits. All right. I asked my nan if she had Wi-Fi. She said, no, but I've got some nice biscuits. All right. I can't say it in Welsh, but I said it in a Welsh accent. You'll have to go to Google Translate to find an actual translation of it, because that would be how it works. All right, so anyway, we did neurodivergence. That's the face of Eris this week. I hope there was nobody hanging around that was waiting for that. Oh, we got 23 coming, so I'll wait for 23 to come and go, as we always do in these circumstances. I hope you're prepared. Brace yourselves, for 23 is incoming. Here we go, 23. 23 is coming right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's lower than 21? 23. 23 is all numbers, of course. Yeah, like essentially the only reason that we've decided to number the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blah, 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 is because if our counting system was 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, everybody had to acknowledge that got kind of confusing when that was the case. You know, that's like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that because then 23 plus 23 would equal 23. Although that's perfectly reasonable. Now I come to think about it. So you've got, you know, a number, any number, as long as it's 23, and you perform any mathematical operation on that number and another number as long as that's 23, and it will equal 23. That there is some Discordian maths right there. 23 divided by 23, the answer is 23. 23 multiplied by 23, it equals 23. 23 minus 23, it equals 23. Yeah, okay, so as long as you're with me on that, yeah, say hello to my cat. 23. So as long as you're copacetic with that, makes maths a lot simpler. The answer to any given equation is 23, and all the numbers involved in the operations are also 23. But it makes things a lot less hassle. Everything costs 23. You always get 23 change. So that's nice. It's like you don't really spend any money. Anyway, that's enough 23 for 1 week. We're going to go back now to game. Yeah, because we're going to move the thing on and go, hey, look, it's the tarot time. Okay, should we find out what this week's tarot card is? I think we've reached that point in proceedings where we're going to want to know what this week's tarot card is. Last week's tarot card, and you'll be disappointed, both of you, to hear this. So okay, my next math test, we're only going to answer 23. Yeah, and remember, all terms within, you know, to get to the answer have to be 23 on this. And when they say you have failed because all you did was write 23, say, I'm a Discordian, you're infringing on my religious right to use Discordian math. Every day is the 23rd day of the 23rd year of the 23rd month. Sorry, 23rd day of the 23rd month of the 23rd year. That is how it works. But only when we exist in 23, and we can't do that all the time, unfortunately. So you may have to bend to that. But you can make the claim, and nobody can say that this didn't happen because it's a very personal experience. Yeah, that while you were in the maths test, you were enveloped in a 23 field for the entire duration, which was 23 minutes. Even if it was a 2-hour test, in 23, it's only 23 minutes. But it was also 23 hours and 23 years, and also only 23 seconds. So, anyway, let's have a tarot card. Let's have a tarot card. Yeah, last week we got the rather disappointing. It was rather disappointing for me. It was like we've been here before, which is weird because we haven't. It's called Squid Shirt. Did you also watch Squid Games? I watched the first season, and I've heard that the second season is fine, but in no way measures up to the first season. So we haven't really got around to it yet. Also, I think Squid Game, what I've discovered is, or a lot of television, some of it is heavy and some of it is not so heavy, and you need a not so heavy show to go along, like they are pairing. So better than season 1. Okay, then I'll hold you to that. So anyway, right, here's the tarot card. I don't know what it is, but I have shuffled the deck 5 times and cut it to brought the relevant card to the top of the deck. So this is definitely the card that Eris wants us to see, and it is... Holy cow! What a great card this week. Sort of the Ace of Spades. You're not a million miles away. It's the Magician. Wow. It's a loud secret. Yeah, one of the Major Arcana, or loud secrets, as I like to call them. Yeah, what is the Magician? The Magician is the figure that can do masculine energy generally. Yeah, because the next card has the feminine energy. I wonder if that goes throughout, whether it is like a flip-flop between... I've never really thought of that, and nobody's ever really talked about it. But yeah, the Magician is the capable person, or the person, the concept of coming into capability, of being the thing, walking the walk. Yeah, the master of activity, I think, is probably the best way to put it. They may not rule the world, yeah, but they own themselves, and they can actualize, they can realize. The Magician makes magic. Robert Anton Wilson, no, he's not God. Robert Anton Wilson, at one point, while he was, I think there was a point in time when Robert Anton Wilson just literally was just going to write, like people who write mottos in Chinese fortune cookie factories, he just wrote quotes for a while, I think, because there's so many quotes from him that it's like him and Oscar Wilde, they're all just quotes. I'm just writing some quotes. You can just put them in things, put my name underneath, and I say, he said that. So why did he say it? Doesn't matter, it's just a quote. But he said, yeah, that between us all there are robots and there are magicians, and every person has the capability of being either at any given time. He went on to expand upon this further in some of his books, to say sometimes being a robot is useful, as robots can do a lot very quickly but to rote. But magicians, they do things much slower, but they create. They are, when you are a magician, you are creating, whatever, situations, creating things, creating art, creating whatever that you put out into the world. When you're being a robot, you're just going through a sequence of rote commands. So sounds like God. Sounds like a God. If you examine the concept of monotheism, like the God, one God, that several people on this planet, a smallish group, are really, really keen on, and then you put it next to the way that most polytheistic religions worked, you will find that monotheism sounds a bit weird when you consider it, because polytheistic religions, this is what I believed as a child, and I think the way that they still try and package it up is that polytheistic religions they say there's this superior class of being called a God, and they all interact with one another and not so much with humans. Honestly, they're a pain in the arse, and they're really it's bad to get involved with them. If you encounter a god, you're probably screwed, okay? So the best thing you can do is be nice about them and hope that they leave you alone. That's how polytheistic religions work. Whereas monotheistic religions work on the basis of there's God, he's better than you, and he'll send you to hell, or he'll send you to a bad place if you don't act to his liking. But he is love, and he is the only one that you can love. And if you come across another being that says it's God, it's not God, it's some kind of wickedness, you must devote yourself to it. It's total cult of personality 100% of the time. And the only reason that we as human beings don't consider polytheistic spiritualities or alternative spiritualities so much is because the God vibe. And the other thing is the God vibe, the monotheistic God vibe, is all about he is love and you act within him within love, and you must love him and he loves everyone else, and you have to be nice to everybody, although you don't really, because look at all the people that claim to be devout monotheistic appreciators. And it just, what do you think looks best, Asia or who? What do you think looks the best, Asia or Africa? I don't pick favourites among continental land masses. They've all got something, a little something. Even Antarctica has a mystique, you know. I think Africa wins the prize of most awesome continent. And in fact, it's so awesome that map makers became jealous of its awesomeness and shrunk down its actual relative size for the Mercator projections. It's actually so fucking unbelievably big that it will make you weep. You know, like other things that are incredibly big that will make you weep. Things like Ayers Rock, that thing is massive. So on so, but Asia has the benefit of being pretty chaotic in terms of the fact that it looks all pretty contiguous and like it all fits together. When you think of all the people that live in the Asian continent, all of those people, they're all at odds all the time, far more than in other parts of the world. And it's just kind of weird. So there we go. That was my thoughts on that topic for today. Cat looks like looking at snow winds. Pretty cute to watch. Oh, snow, 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 snow. My cat would probably enjoy looking at snow as well, but he doesn't because we don't, as I explained, we don't get snow here. We never get snow here. It can snow pretty badly 5 miles away and we'll be not a drop. We have had a couple of snow showers since I've been here in the last decade, but it never sticks. Never, never, ever sticks. Never. Oh boy, have we got here already? We have indeed. So we'll just... oh no, I don't need to focus. We just need it on the side there. There we go. Cool. Yeah, it's time. I've managed to press the button. I managed to get my head together enough to think it's time for the weekly sacrament. So as we remember in the SWTP, we like strawberry flavour. We like hot dogs, no buns. Which I keep forgetting to mention. That there's no bun involved in this operation. Anything small to eat is fine. That you can just... You know, anything that you can see turning into transmogrifying into a hot dog when it hits your taste buds, absolutely fine. We favour strawberry flavoured things. We favour solid items rather than liquid or gaseous items. But honestly, if you have peppermint flavoured smoke, that will do just as well in a pinch. What's important is the intention. The intention. And as we say, here it is. I could not find a hot dog, not even with a bun. So I eat this candy noodle because devotion comes with fun. Nice. How about that magician, eh? Wow. I think every tarot person is different, but for me, a card like the magician is like a little win. A little tick. You have a dry noodle pat. I think probably we have to make... That's my sacrament. Okay. Actually, to be fair, I mean, you know, I think to do the quick sacrament, like me, you need something you could just shove it in your mouth straight away and just, you know, chew it up, swallow it. That's fine. But the concept of taking noodles and then boiling them and then eating them respectfully, there's something kind of worthy about that concept. Making a whole air. I don't think I could do it live on air. You know, sit there cooking a bunch of noodles and then eating them up. Don't think I could do that. But certainly any devotee who would like to take a few moments of solitude to imbibe a holy meal every Friday, it's all good. You have my papal blessing to do so. There we go. What an amazing service. Fully in the spirit of the thing. Yeah? And that the spirit of the thing being, if I lived in the States, I would have killed Elon. No joke. Okay. let's take a moment to think about that. If I lived in the States, well, I wouldn't want to live in the States. Who'd want to live in the States? Although, to be fair, YouTube has recently, and I mean in the last couple of days, erupted with videos titled things like "The UK is finished." So apparently, living in the UK is also bad. But I would be willing to bet that 90% of the people posting those videos are from England. And England is definitely, it's been a wasteland for years. Wales is all right. Scotland is definitely all right. And Ireland is all right. But England is terrible and has always been terrible and will always be terrible. So there we go. Anyway, you killing Elon. I think, to be honest, what you have to consider in these matters is you'd only be killing for Elon's sake. Yeah? That you'd be doing it. He's the star player in that assassination scenario. Yeah, as is anyone who's the target of an assassination. And I don't have enough time for the guy to be bothered killing him. I've got other stuff to do. I've got these services to run. I've got data to science. So no, he can kill himself at the point that he does, or not. He can do what he likes. Well, he does do what he likes, including Nazi salutes. So, you know, that's how he rolls. But yeah, so there we go. If he dies, US falls. Trust. Interesting. Interesting point of view there. But of course, we all love it. Chaos, confusion, discord, bureaucracy and aftermath. But, you know, mainly discord, confusion, chaos. And we are in the season of chaos. I mean, if I really try and concentrate and think about it, here's the closing thought for tonight's service. There's a whole theme in philosophy of the banality of evil, and this is it. It's right there. It's really boring. He's really boring. He's very, very tedious, and I think that's why we gotta stay away. It was grey face, isn't it? It's just grey face again. All right. Anyway, so there we go. I think that pretty much brings us to the close of this evening's proceedings. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for derailing me. If you are watching this asynchronously, I hope that you've picked up the Discordian vibes coming out. It's good. It's a good thing. So there we are. And that was it. Friday the 24th of Beta Rita. Discordianism. Hail Eris. And out.